Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome to my library, and I want to make a short video today so we can talk about the horror genre and how I got here. So let's get into it before I lose the natural light because it looks really great in here right now. Okay, I guess to really get into my horror origin story, I guess we have to go back to when I was a child, and I grew up in a house where we weren't allowed to watch things that were massively inappropriate for our ages, but I don't remember there ever being a time when I said, oh, I want to watch that, and I was told no, especially not by my dad or my older sister, who I spent a lot of time with because, our mom worked kind of a later shift at the time, and anyway, one of the first horror movies I can vividly remember, I was probably 4, maybe 5 years old, and I'm pretty certain my sister let me watch it, was A Nightmare on Elm Street, the OG, the original. I remember being so scared of Freddy Krueger, but also kind of liking the feeling of being scared. It was exciting. Once or twice I kind of can remember thinking, oh my god, he's gonna come, he's gonna get me, but even then I think I understood it was not really going to happen. It just was super cool. The next horror movie I can remember that I fell in love with, and I still love now, also when I was a really young kid, was Stephen King's Silver Bullet. I loved that. I watched it with my dad. I watched it on my own. The reflection of my phone is driving me nuts. It's in my glasses, but whatever, we're gonna keep going. Anyway, it's vivid memories, and I just loved it. And then I got into horror books, and I read things like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the OGs, the original Goosebumps series. I remember reading my first Stephen King book really young, like 9, 10 years old, young, but I liked the creepy feeling it gave me. And by the way, it was The Shining. Still love it, still gives me the creeps, but I just loved it, and I still love it. I love a good horror movie. I'm that person that, I'm home alone and I'm like, what do I want to watch? And almost always I pick a horror movie. I love horror novels. There's a whole stack of them right here behind me even. I have shelves and shelves of them if you watched my library tour. I like the feeling of being scared, and it takes a lot to truly scare me, but I like that feeling of anticipation and excitement that you get when you're watching a horror movie or reading a creepy book, going to a haunted house. Like, I loved Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando. Oh my god, I had the best time because I love that feeling, and I don't get a lot of scares, but the ones that I do get are just the best because just the way it makes me feel. And I know that a lot of you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about, that feeling. I never thought I could write horror stories, and that was a mental block that I gave myself. I just didn't think I could do it. And then I started getting ideas, and one of those first ones was Transmission. It's kind of a dystopian pandemic kind of horror, not necessarily the type of horror that I usually read or that I truly love, but it gave me a feeling like maybe I can. And then the ideas just started coming, and Ashes just came out, which is the second Rag & Bone book. Book 3's out in July, and then this October I have a book called Autumn People that's going to be coming out. And for me, that's the moment I thought, I can do this. I pulled a lot of my thoughts and feelings from classic Stephen King books like It, Summer of Night. If you guys have ever read Summer of Night, oh my god, that book is so good. And a lot of those feelings came from that, and I was really inspired by the different time periods and just the different elements and that classic trope that you get in a lot of Stephen King stories, like The Body, which became the movie Stand By Me, or even like Stranger Things, where you have this group of kids and they have to band together and they're lifelong friends, and then they're up against something penultimate, bigger than themselves. And I love that because it makes me think of when I was a kid, running around, riding my bike, falling in love with horror. Horror is a part of my everyday life. I'm writing about it. I watch movies. I read books. I have a degree in criminology, actually, and I very specifically studied behavioral analysis, serial killers, serial murders, the forensic aspects of that, and reading about those real life people have also inspired me, because real life horror is sometimes so much scarier than the things we read in books or see in movies. I'm gonna make a video soon. Last September, I live in the state of Kentucky, and I'd never been to Waverly Hills, and last September I finally went. And I did, and well, it's actually the 1st of October. The trip started at the end of September and worked into the 1st of October, and I went and spent the night there. It changed my life. As a believer in the paranormal, as a person who loves that feeling, it's going to be hard to put it into words, which is why I haven't made a video about it yet, but I really want to. And I don't know, it's just been this massive influence on my life. It's influenced every aspect of my life. It influenced what I studied in college. It influenced what I'm doing now as a writer. It's just everything. And I know that can sound crazy to people who don't have their entire lives infiltrated by this thing that they love or that others see as a hobby. And I don't know, it's just a big part of me, and I just kind of wanted to make this little video to talk about it and to see, is there anybody else out there who feels that way, who it just encompasses you, it's part of you. It's not just this thing that you liked as a kid, or it's not just this thing that you enjoy after work. Has it consumed you? Has it become part of you? Other horror writers, what's your story? I want to know. I want to know how we all ended up here and what influenced you. You know, for me, it was movies. Nightmare on Elm Street, Silver Bullet, classic monster movies that I used to watch with my dad. The show Monsters that used to come on the Sci-Fi Channel. Tales from the Crypt. Just all of those great pop culture moments. The Lost Boys. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And even the non-horror films that came from those stories, like Stand By Me and Apt Pupil and Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, that have all these different elements. The human part, where there's this human being who is just so horrible, or this horrible thing that's happened to people. Horror's not just about monsters and murderers. It's about deep-seated human fear. And I am so excited that I get to tell these stories. And this May, I'm going, for the first time since I joined the Horror Writers Association last year, to take part in StokerCon and get to mingle with other horror writers and panelists who this is their life too. Have you guys ever been? If you have, what was your experience? Are you in the HWA? If you are, let's connect. I'd love to read your books and review them. And because it's just an important thing. But I don't want to talk too much, but I think that's the end of this video. I'm going to work on the Waverly video, and I'll try to make a video soon as I finish that third Rag and Bone book and prepare to finish my first kind of horror thriller dystopian story. But yeah, hit me up. Let's talk about it. See you guys next time.